Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Highland Park Ice Edition, 17-year-old. Cask strength?
I don't think it tells us.
I don't know. All I know is the ABV, and that is 53.9% ABV. All these whiskeys here matured in first fill bourbon casks. So Highland Park the Ice, they did a little two-part series, the Ice and the Fire, and we're bringing the Fire here soon as well. Very similar to the Light and the Dark that we recently reviewed. So another beautiful job of packaging. This little wooden ice mountain is, I guess, it would be. You know, it's magnetic, and it kind of folds out back here.
You saw how much Mike struggled to gently open that? Those are some killer magnets.
Yeah, it's not like I'm lacking in strength.
Yeah, no, you can literally hold them, from the side. It's not coming out.
Yeah, so it takes a bit of a tug, which is good. I want these things to be as safe as humanly possible. And Dustin, we saw this thing when we were visiting Chicago.
Yeah, that's right.
And I went into Benny's on a mission for Lagavulin 25. So we were knocking down Lagavulin 25s. We were knocking down
Kalila 30s.
Kalila 30s. We were getting Craig Gallagher Exceptional Cask. And I was like, whoa, you got a deal on Highland Park Ice. I've never had Highland Park Ice. They sold it to me for like $1.99 or $199 bucks.
$1.99 would have been a better deal.
Would have been a better deal. So I was like, you know what? I can't pass it up. It's high ABV. It's Highland Park, ex-bourbon, cask matured. So I don't have the craziest of high expectations, but my goodness, I hope it's better than the Light.
Yes.
Because that bourbon cask matured Light was just not my thing. But this one is all first fill, Dustin.
Yeah. Now, one interesting thing I'm noticing here, Mike, as we're talking. So they went out of their way to make these really fancy packages. And one thing they decided for both the Fire and Ice was to use colored glass. Mm-hmm. Now, what's funny here, though, is that because the spirit inside is slightly brown and this is blue, when you look through it, it's green.
Yeah, it comes off a little goofy.
I don't think that's really what they were aiming for, but
as you work it down, though, it becomes more blue on top.
Yeah.
Plus, it has like these little ridges, like it's an ice mountain.
Yeah.
Give you a little bit better view of the
They
bottle
should have
right
gone
there.
just slightly darker blue, I think. But hey.
It's a very thin bottle, too.
Yeah.
Highland Park, like we were mentioning earlier, man, they spent so much time and effort on the packaging, from the bottles to the corks to the actual packaging itself. Man, if they've had that kind of detail on the whiskey,
I know.
it'd been like Highland Park in the 80s and 90s.
Well, you work in packaging, Mike. Wouldn't you love to find a customer who spent this much money on packaging?
Like, you know what? We're cutting back on this, so whatever. Just give it to me. What, $100 the cost of the whiskey? We don't care.
Every year we're going to do another 300 different special editions, and we're going to do custom bottles and packaging for everything.
As a packaging person, that's my dream.
Yes.
For someone to say, you know what, I'm just going to spend a bunch on this.
Their marketing department has to be well paid too. That's a lot of work.
A lot of work. I mean, it's a good result.
Yeah, actually, some of these are a little wonky. Some I think are a little goofy. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan, for example, of the new 21. I think the box is cheap and they put a really heavy topper on it.
But we're talking about it.
True.
And that's the key.
Part of it, yeah.
That's the key is we're talking. Again, what did I say? When I was in Benny's, I said, oh, what is that over there on the floor? That's the Highland Park Ice. It caught my eye.
Yeah. Dark and Light do a very good job of that too.
Dude, other bottles were on the floor, Liquid 37, other things that just didn't jump out at me. This jumped out at me. It was visually, I wouldn't say appealing, it was visually noticeable.
Yeah.
Like your eyes were drawn to it. Anyway, we talked enough about this. So again, first fill ex-bourbon, 30,000 bottles. Nice, light color, bourbon cask.
Yeah, but I think you said these are first fill, right?
First fill?
Yeah, so you can kind of tell. These are not super thin.
I mean, again, a good ABV at 53.9. I mean, 54% ABV. If that's not cask strength, that's close.
I'll tell you what, Mike, this just smells good.
It does.
Like, sometimes we spend time on the fruits or this, that, and the other. This is just pleasant. Mm-hmm. I go nose this, and I just like, oh, yeah.
You know what I thought from the very first time I had this, and every time I've had it, there's almost a cooling mint to it. And I don't know if it's because it's called ice, but for whatever reason, every time I put my nose in the glass for the first time, I think, I'm 2 degrees cooler.
Yeah. See, you said mint, and I'm thinking, I don't smell mint, but I do notice my nose actually gets cooler when I put it in the glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it literally, it's
like
not a smell, it's literally a feeling.
It's like a York peppermint patty. It doesn't smell like a York peppermint patty, but it gives you that cool rush.
Literally.
Almost puts goosebumps on you.
Although this came out of your cabinet. Your cabinet does tend to keep a few degrees cooler.
Well, it's not as insulated for whatever reason as the rest of the wall, which is probably an engineering flaw. But if it's cool outside, it's cooler in there. If it's hot outside, it's hotter in there.
Yep.
But yeah, very I'm getting, okay, so as far as flavors go, I'm getting vanilla, an icy vanilla, if you will. I'm almost getting like, when my refrigerator crushes ice, like shards of ice, the way that smells.
I'm getting a beautiful peat here, Mike. Like earthy peat, but it's and it's mixed in with like, it's not just vanilla, but it's like,
Vanilla mint.
there's vanilla, there's mint, but there's like there's a darker element here. There's something richer. It's like, I don't know, a vanilla where there's a film on the top of it. The film's darker and
It's almost like an icing.
yeah. So there's a pastry here for sure.
It's almost like cheesecake with a sour cream on top. If it's
Oh
cold.
yeah.
Because it doesn't taste like sour cream or smell like sour cream because it's iced and it's like in a refrigerated environment or a cooled environment.
Cheesecake's actually a really good note, like fresh baked cheesecake.
I love cheesecake.
I don't have it very often, but yeah, it's definitely something I enjoyed as a kid. Like, but this isn't like the Fazoli stuff you get. This was like, you're going into like the Cheesecake Factory. Man,
It almost like a.
this is way better than I remember, Mike. I mean, this is one of the best smelling bourbon casks I can think of in a long time.
There's some type of berry note in here too. Blueberry maybe, maybe not. Not as
No, it's
rich as blueberry, but some type of berry note.
No, it's not blueberry. It's yeah. There's something.
There's almost like a fresh
White grape, maybe?
toothpaste note to it as well.
Like a dried white grape. Not a raisin, but like I don't know. It's
Like
not.
a white peach.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
It's almost like a white peach I got off of Balvenie 21 Portwood.
Yeah, I don't even think white peach is a real thing, but if there is a white peach, this.
Well,
is
you know
it
what I
smells
mean
like.
by that, right?
Yeah. No, because that's where I'm at. Is like it's not berry. It's not a blueberry. It's not a grape. Yeah, you're right. It's like if a peach was. Yeah,
This
white.
is an interesting dram.
Yeah.
Interesting dram that is both interesting and enjoyable. Not just interesting from the fact of it's taking me a minute to unravel it. Like it's definitely an enjoyable experience. What are you picking up with the palate?
So, still transitioning, still finishing, still changing on me here, but it's not as creamy and desserty on the palate. There's still vanilla. It's sweet. I do get some of that cooling effect here and there. The finish is nice as it gets really spicy, it gets really dark, it gets really brings out some of that peat. I'm starting to get heather honey, but I don't want to say it's honeyed yet. There might be honey here, but I'm still not sure I really picked up honey.
Oh, I'm picking up honey.
Really nice. Good cask maturation. The barrels they chose here were phenomenal.
Yeah, good barrels. I agree.
The oak selection here was top notch. I mean, they picked some good bourbon barrels that probably, had bourbon for 10 years in them. Not just some bourbon that,
Seasoned.
and that one that was a 6-year, a 4-year release. This has got some nice stuff.
There's
Really nice.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, it's powerful on the palate when you first take a sip.
Yes.
Like you're feeling that 53.9 or basically 54% ABV, and it really drives it home. Now for me, I'm getting some dark honey. It's almost like when we had that Highland Park 21. There's no sherry involved in it, so it's stripped back. The overcoat's stripped off of it. But man, it's there in my opinion, and it's a lovely. The vanilla is an iced vanilla. Like, it's the only way I can say it. There's something taken back that I can't get to because it's been in the refrigerator
vanilla ice
for a
cream.
long time.
It's vanilla ice cream right out of the freezer.
Vanilla bean ice cream.
Yeah,
Almost.
yeah. Oh yeah, I mean everything about this is a little spicy in a very nice way. So yeah, if it's vanilla ice cream, it's vanilla bean with that extra spice that comes through. Again, it's just well done, Mike. I'm just. We
Man,
talk,
to me, that honey was really there on the finish,
yeah.
man.
Well, we talk about Highland Park being balanced, right? This is balanced, but it's also bold, extremely bold.
But you really can only go this bold and maintain some balance when I think you do a bourbon cast like this. If you did a sherry cast, I think it would be too intense of flavors. But just if you do just raw first fill bourbon, it's not like having a first fill sherry or a first fill rum cask or a couple
Yeah,
cask.
no,
or
you'd
something
have
like
to
that.
use a second or third fill sherry
Right.
cask to get this kind of balance. And then, honestly, getting this bold is a lot of scotches just fail to get bold like this.
This really reminds me of the Lagavulin distillery team pick from 2018. It really, so they're using just bourbon casks. So there's a lot of, you're getting a lot of cask maturation, but because it's bourbon, this distillery characteristic is still really there.
Yeah.
And for me, the honey's still really there.
Yeah, I mean, I was questioning myself on that because there was so much other stuff going on there that I wasn't sure if I picked it up. Like, it's one of those things. There's a lot going on here, even though it is so balanced. I mean, there's just oak, spice, peat, heather, honey, vanilla. There's just layer upon layer of just rich pastry sweetness. There's and then a ton of spice. And I don't know what the spice is. It's just it feels spicy.
So I put in a little bit more water than I would normally add to our whiskeys just to kind of break it up. And I tell you what, it's opened this up really nice. Not only am I getting more of that heather honey, that Highland Park heather honey, but the smoke's a little bit more obvious. Obviously, the vanilla is still the driving factor here. But on top of that, there's something
I'm picking up the oak more now.
yeah, there's a charred oak note to it.
Yeah. I'm not getting as much of the pastry. I'm not getting as much of the sweetness. So for me, I'm not enjoying the nose as much, but you're right that we're getting more of the smoke. We're getting more of the peat. We're getting more of the honey.
We're stripping back that cask maturation.
We're stripping back that beautiful, just pastried awesomeness, and we're bringing out more of the Highland Park distillate.
It's getting a little funky. It's getting a little dirty.
Yeah. Although this is still, as Highland Parks go, still on the cleaner side.
Agreed. But comparatively to neat, it's a little dirtier.
Yeah.
There's something here I'm just not quite just putting together either.
Oh,
It's an interesting whiskey. I'm glad I picked it up for $200.
There's like a sourdough, like raw sourdough kind of a note coming in now.
Well, it's going along with that pastry that you're talking about.
Yeah, but there's like sourdough with the pastry.
It's almost like crumble from pie crust.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a little more interesting on the nose with a few drops of water. On the palate, any different? More, less?
Yeah, a little softer up front. I think, again, you're getting more of the honey. Now it's really honeyed to me. But yeah, I mean, same stuff. We didn't change any flavors. We didn't bring out anything new. It held up to the water beautifully. The finish is still there. It's still bold, still spicy, still gives us all that good stuff.
A little bit more spice on the finish now with the water, I think.
Could be. Before there was so much alcohol in the finish that it's hard to discern them because I only went in once, and last time I had this one, I don't remember liking it as much.
Yeah, every time I've gone back to it, it's gotten better. Like initially, I wasn't really impressed at all, and then I think we were live streaming or chatting on the phone or something. And I went back and I was like, you know what, man, this really kind of opened up pretty well. And I've had this since, oh God, what, November? So it's
October, November, yeah.
That means nothing to you. 7-8 months roughly, and I opened it up fairly right away. You know, you check it out and you kind of get to it. So I mean, it's been oxidating for 6, 7, 8 months, which I usually like to at least wait 6 months before I bring a review and have it a few times. Though I have not drank this down very far at this point. This is probably a bottle's going to be with me for a while.
Yeah, and again, with the way it's shaped, that's actually very little of the bottle comparatively.
No, for sure. So we're as far as whiskey score here.
Gosh, one more sip, Mike.
You got it. I'll go into that whiskey score then while you're waiting. I'm at, I mean, I like this whiskey. It's not a mind blower. So I'm probably like at an 85 out of 100.
Really?
85, 84, something like that. It's a good whiskey.
Yeah.
Where you at?
With water, it's probably about where you're giving it, but before we added water, for me, this was probably pushing close to an 88, but I'm going to go 87.
Okay.
This really impressed me really impressed me up front.
It's a good whiskey. I do think the whole cooling mint sort of thing at the beginning is a bit gimmicky.
Yeah.
Even though it is interesting. It's not something I've ever seen anyone else do before, so I mean, really, how interesting could it be?
I mean, again, how much of it's psychology? You tell me something's ice, and I'm going to start thinking ice.
I mean, it must be, because it really did feel like a cooling sensation, especially when you first get into this one. It's incredible. Yep. All right, so anyway, this is an 87. I'm an 85 out of 100. Highland Park Ice, not a bottle that was, I've seen a lot. I've seen the Fire a lot. I've seen Light and Dark a lot.
The Ice was much more popular than the Fire, I believe. That's why we haven't seen a lot of these lately.
It was kind of source. But I'm just saying I haven't seen this available very many places.
Well, because they sold out, whereas the Fire's still sitting.
Yeah, it's a lot lower ABV. We'll get into that in my next review. So anyway, those are our thoughts on Highland Park Ice Edition. We'd like to know what you guys think if you're able to sample this bottle. How close were we as far as some of your tasting notes? We'd love to know. Dustin, until next time, we'll do so, folks.
Happy drinking.
We'll see you next time.